This edition of the Rahman Experience is brought to you by PMPNutrition.com, your first choice for nutrition, supplements, and advice on how to get and stay fit. The Jacksonville Free Press, publishing quality urban news for more than 30 years. And Edward Waters College, preserving history, promising futures. You are inside the Rahman Experience. It's going to be an amazing show today. We'll talk to one of Nigeria's hottest musical artists, TK Swag. But first, the news. This week in Washington, former senior Trump campaign aide Sam Nunberg was subpoenaed by counsel Robert Mueller, and he says that he will not comply with the subpoena. Specifically, he said, screw that, to CNN's Gloria Borger. Now, if he doesn't testify, this could put him behind bars. The testimony is scheduled to take place on Friday. The Florida Senate passed a bill on Monday that raises the age to buy a firearm from 18 to 21. It also requires a 3-day waiting period for gun purchases and bans the sale or possession of bump stocks. That makes a semi-automatic weapon function like an automatic rifle. Now, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Safety Act gives law enforcement the power to seize weapons and ammunition from those deemed mentally unfit by authorities. The Senate comes to that measure just 2 weeks after a gunman killed 17 students and teachers at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in South Florida. The bill now moves to the Florida House, and it's not clear when they'll take up the measure. The Shape of Water was the big winner at this year's 90th Annual Academy Awards ceremony, but one individual who made history with 3 nominations in different categories was Jordan Peele. He was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, and won for Best Original Screenplay.
The Oscar goes to Jordan Peele. Get out.
My mother, who taught me to love even in the face of hate, and to everybody who went and saw this movie, everybody who bought a ticket, who told somebody to buy a ticket, thank you.
Although Denzel Washington, Octavia Spencer, Meryl Streep, and Mary J. Blige were nominated, none of them took home Oscar gold. Some have said that this is the most diverse Academy Awards ever. The experience continues in just moments. We'll be right back.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
It's Meals on Wheels.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
It's a brand new experience, a brand new time, a brand new way to do it. Hey, yeah, it's all mine. I'm the one telling stories you thought couldn't be told. I'm the one that bring you in your when you shaking from the cold. I'm the one always out front, yeah, trying something new. I'm the one that's gonna deliver when they ask what it do. Politics, entertainment, a science for the news. Keeping you on the level with the stuff you can use. DJ Kids on the beat, Rock's got the track. It's the Rahman Experience. You know that's where it's at. Well, I have finally done it. I have waited and been through supplication and prayer and all those other things. And finally, I am here. Yeah, so I'm really excited to have this podcast, this method that I can connect with you, all of my friends and loved ones and everybody else. So thank you for tuning in and checking me out. If this is your first time, hey there. And if you connect with me on other socials, welcome back. Thank you for spending some time with me. If this, like I said, is your first time, you can catch me on all the socials. Facebook is facebook.com/RahmanJFans, one of which you will be, I hope, because I'm a fan of yours since you're already here. Facebook.com/RahmanJFans. You can catch me on Instagram or Twitter at RahmanJ, and that's spelled RAHMANJ. That's RAHMANJ. Now, just a little background about me. I'm from Florida, born and raised in Jacksonville, home of the I'm going to go ahead and just say 2020, but it may be as soon as 2019, Super Bowl champion Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm a graduate of Edward Waters College and Seton Hall University, and the majority of my career has been either in working in some way, either in media or entertainment, on stage, in front of the camera, all of those things. I've worked as a news anchor and reporter for TV stations, and I was a radio jock. I hosted the hit TV game show rather, Splat, that was on Nickelodeon for several seasons. And I've worked in marketing with several companies, and currently I'm a freelance journalist and a college professor. And like I said earlier, I'm an actor. Yeah, the kind that works. But you know how it is as an actor. Sometimes you're working, sometimes you're not. But I'm just excited to have this platform to talk about the things I find really important to me, you know? And the one thing I've learned on this experience and in this journey is that the thing that inspires me most is news and telling stories. And one of the reasons why I tell stories, regardless of if it's on stage, if it's on film, if it's anchoring the news or doing a report, the reason I tell stories is because it helps me to help people do better in their lives. And those stories also help me to understand the human existence and make my life better as well. So I am in awe of the opportunity I have been blessed with to tell these stories. And now having a platform like a podcast allows those stories to really reach more people and hopefully inspire all of you to do something with your life that you didn't even think about before. So I hope to bring you unique stories and experiences on a regular basis. I know you heard me say something about news, and even though I'm an actor and I still keep that as a really core part of who I am, I love news. I listen to news all the time. I watch news. Even when I'm driving around, I keep my Sirius XM satellite radio on some of the news channels. I'm flipping through CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all of those things, because I think it's important to be informed so that we can help other people. So that's just a little bit of my background. I'd love to hear from you. You can shoot me a note on any of my socials, again, at Rahman J for both Instagram and Twitter, and on Facebook at facebook.com/RahmanJFans. But it really is an honor to have you by my side here on this journey. So let's get started. This show today is all about this amazing artist. You'll hear about him. It's a musical genius from just a little distance away if you're in the United States. If you're somewhere else around the world, he may be really close to you. So after this, we'll be back with The Rahman Experience.
Have you seen Dr. Roberts about that sore in your mouth?
Nah, I'm sure it'll go away.
But it's been weeks. It could be oral cancer.
Mouth cancer?
Yeah, I read that it's more common in African American men than in any other group.
All right. I'll make an appointment.
Do you have a tough guy in your house? Make sure he sees a doctor or dentist if he has a sore in his mouth that lasts more than 2 weeks. If it is oral cancer, it can be treated more successfully if it's caught early. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services National Institutes of Health.
Welcome back to The Rahman Experience. The Rahman Experience.
It's The Rahman Experience, and TK Swag is in the house. TK, and I know you don't go by it, but I got to go ahead and put it out there. And you got to tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
No, you.
Torkuma Davies, New York.
Oh, you got it.
Did I say? Now we will never call you that again. But TK, TK is one of the most talented artists on the planet. He does something in Nigeria that he calls Arewa Hip-Hop, which we'll talk about in just a bit. But his music is extremely urban. He owns the radio airwaves in Nigeria. So welcome to The Rahman Experience, TK Swag. So good to have you here, man.
It's your boy TK Swag, and I'm here with my man Rahman Johnson. It's a pleasure talking to you, man.
I want to talk about your music, but first, you're a rapper, you're a singer, you're all of those things, but you got a degree in chemistry.
Yeah.
Explain that.
All right. Music for me didn't start I didn't start music earlier as early as other people started it. I didn't discover my calling into music as other people would have, because I was actually the guy that would like to go to school and try to be somebody scientific, trying to be, a science student from high school, getting to the university and all that. Actually, music for me came through my friends who pushed me to the studio and was like, hey, you're good with freestyles, man. You freestyle good. You sound good when you sing. Why don't you try this out, man? And funny thing was that they actually paid my first studio session and coined me to the studio. I didn't even know I was going to go record that. They were like, come with us, man. Listen to this hot track a friend of ours just produced, and we should, go listen and give him that support. At the end of the day, I ended up singing and rapping to that song. That was in Jos. Jos is the capital state. Is the capital of Plateau State in Nigeria. Yeah, in the middle belt part of Nigeria.
So how did you come up with and am I saying it right? Arewa Afro Hip-Hop. Why do you call it that? Is it because of the Hausa influence on your music, or how did you come up with that?
Yeah, like Arewa it's a Hausa thing. It's a form of recognition. Like it classifies the Northerners. Like when they say we are Arewa, like it's like a whole bigger part of being a Hausa person. You understand? So
yes.
I grew up in Jos, and in that part of Nigeria, they speak Hausa. It's a major language there. You can't give what you don't have, So that's what I had. And I found out that inculcating that in my music would actually bring uniqueness to it. You understand? So I went ahead to do that. Putting Hausa lyrics in my music because I knew Hausa, understood Hausa very well. I tried to synchronize that in my music, and it came out well. I was like, oh, wow, okay, let me try this again. And from time to time, I'll chip in that Hausa into my sounds, to alternating it to try to create sense and make a unique, sound out of it.
And it's I mean, one of the things that attracted me to your music is because they're beats, but it mixes English, it mixes Hausa, it mixes probably some Igbo in there too that I just don't know, and it pulls it together. So it kind of bridges the gap of Afrobeat. It really does, from what I can see.
Yeah, because here in Nigeria we have major tribes. Like the major speaking tribes are Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. So basically, I just move with the flow. If I feel like Igbo is going to sound nice on my track, I ask a friend for a line and just put it in there so that someone from that part of Nigeria will listen to you and be like, oh, okay, it's representing. If I'm listening, if I feel like Yoruba is going to be good on my track, I go ahead to put that in my song. But majority of my sounds have the Hausa thingy in it. So Arewa Pop is when I am singing and there's Hausa in it. That's when that track is actually Arewa Afro Pop.
And it turns into something that is pure magic. Literally, it is magic when you're listening to it, because I know it's infectious.
Yeah,
it's
thanks
infectious.
a lot. Because I saw you doing some gym routines with the music. I was like, oh, come on, actually going somewhere,
Yeah, we are going somewhere. Okay, well, speaking of the song that I was doing the gym routine to, here it is. Your track, Check Your Alert. It's TK Swag.
All the girls in the club and they don't when she go party more drama. You want carry on no show go shopping, and your sister they just say hungry. They rub in your head, you show walking. Or Benny they use your brain on your check the alert. Check your alert. That's the time that you check my alert. Check the alert for the money you can feel the alert. When I'm check your alert. 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 Baby, yeah, make it something. The cool is long, I'm a banner some long thing. Do another long thing, I'm a dogon yaro, babe. Please put a pause in the long thing. Yo, I am real till I stand to see. I go down, go tell your whole life now. Check and see. Pop, no me, no go walk. You can't jazz me. I large you down, swag, I don't tell. Go shea on a Sunday. Every day, now your by day. We locks on a Friday. Up in charm and we bank it. Oh yeah, check your no be smart, you know. I large it down smart. All the girls in the club and they don't, you know. When she go party more drama. You want carry your no show go shopping. And your sister they just say hungry. They rub in your head, you show walking. Or Benny, they use your brain and you check the alert. I can check your alert. When I dance, sometimes I just check my alert. For the money, you can feel the alert. When I pop the bottle, check your alert. 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 Assalamu alaikum, madam, and Anima in Yamere Gela Damashi, the Passamare, no retreat, no alarm, see the duwa with well, it is real, it is vampire. Assalamu alaikum, madam, and Anima in Yamere Gela Damashi, the Passamare, no retreat, no alarm, see the duwa with well, it is real, it is vampire. She on Sunday, every day, now your by day. We locks on a Friday. Up in charm and we bank it. Oh yeah, check your no be smart, you know. Yeah. All the girls in the club and they long, you know. You want carry your no show go shopping. And your sister they just say hungry. They rub in your head, you show walking. Or Benny, they use your brain and you check the alert. I can check your alert. When I dance, sometimes I just check my alert. For the money, you can feel the alert. When I pop the bottle, check your alert. Check your alert. Check your alert. Check your alert. Check your alert.
So let me ask you this. So take me back. When you were a kid, you were coming up. Obviously, you had gone to college, have a degree in chemistry. But as a kid coming up, how did you get inspired? What inspired you? And were you always musically inclined as a kid? Or is that something once your friends challenged you and said, hey, man, you're really good at this? Is that where you started to make that development?
Oh, no. As a kid, I think my pop had, he loved music. So I grew up listening to Jackson 5s, them MC Hammer. I was listening to a lot of pop music from Michael Jackson and oh come on, what's this group Bobby Brown and the rest were
New Edition.
Yes,
Edition.
I was listening to those sounds even if I didn't know I couldn't I didn't know who they were at the time, but I knew that the music sounded good. I liked it. I liked what I was listening to, and I was always exposed to music as a kid. Either I'm watching it on VHS tapes or I'm listening to them on radio tapes or on the radio. Way back, as at that time, we didn't have a lot of Nigerian artists putting in the kind of music I enjoyed as a kid. So that was easier for me to get accustomed to than to what it is. But the Nigerian music industry has really grown beyond what it was way back. So as a kid, it was my dad. The exposure to music was all that that had me going, because I knew that, okay, this is how good music should sound. Like, even if I was going to write music, it should sound like what I've listened to before, and I tried to write my own songs even as a kid. Like, I would mime songs. I would listen to songs and write out the lyrics, to sing it out to myself later on. I'll go rewind a tape, listen. If I didn't get it right, I'll rewind a tape and get it recorded, you understand? So at the end of the day, I think my dad had a great influence on my music because of the exposure he led me into.
Gotcha. So I know it's a little bit of a delay. So just in case, and to everyone who's listening, It's the Rockman Experience with TK Swag. So just in case it's somewhat of a delay, you're in Nigeria, I'm in the United States, but through the power of the internet, we're able to connect. Let's talk a little bit more about, I know you said the music of back in the day, and I want to say that one of Nigeria's probably favorite artists, and one of my favorite personally is Fela Anisam Kuti. And I absolutely love Fela, as I'm sure you did. And I want to know, like, one of the reasons, and some people say there's so many conspiracy theories about Fela and the government and how he died, but his music was something that sparked Nigerians taking an even bigger interest in government and against corruption and those kind of things. And he was a very political performer. Do you take any inspiration from that? And how political are you when it comes to some of the stuff?
Basically, Fela laid out the basics to music that every artist here in Nigeria is actually clinging on to, because he actually invented Afro pop. He actually invented juju.
Yes.
There's a music called, his sound was called juju, Afro juju. You get. And he is till date the greatest inspiration that Nigerian artists. If you listen to our lyrics, if you're someone who has listened to Fela, you discover that a lot of people would fall back to some of his lyrics in today's music. The likes of Wizkid. Fela is Wizkid's total mentor. You know, Wizkid is like one of our biggest exports in Nigeria. Listen to Burna Boy. He has that in him. A lot of Fuji artists, that we have Fuji music down here in Nigeria. It's a traditional music from the Yoruba part of Nigeria. Now, Fela has really inspired the whole of Nigeria. The whole of the Nigerian music industry is built on the foundation that Fela laid a long time ago. And as for me, where I'm from is Benue State. Benue State is like the middle belt of Nigeria. All right. And currently we've been going through a couple of difficult times. There's been a lot of negative things happening here, but I try to speak out to people who are fans of mine. Like, I reach out to them. I'm like, look, you need to know who you want to be your governor tomorrow. You need to really get into this business so that you vote the right person that can actually set the road straight for you here in Nigeria. Like in the States, you need good politicians, you need good public office holders who can actually make you benefit from democracy. So up till now, he's a legend that nobody can dispute here in Nigeria.
Well, and think about it in Africa as a whole, because when you think about colonization in Africa and the civil rights struggle here in the United States, it took musicians to be able to find ways to interpret what people were saying and getting the word out there. Because, you know, it was kind of hard sometimes for Martin Luther King Jr. or people in that ilk. Yeah, they could give speeches, but what if people weren't listening? But music was a way that could cross boundaries and that could hopefully soften hearts.
Music is,
I get it.
Like there's this quote I always like to use. Music is a chalk on life's board. Like, without music, life basically doesn't make enough sense. Like you said, a lot of people might not want to listen when a politician is speaking, or they won't want to listen when someone is trying to make a speech, or probably on paper, try to push out bills. But music just breaks through your ears and straight to your heart, and then it touches places that you can only feel with your mind, and you feel it in your mind, and you feel it in your subconscious. That's what music does. It doesn't take permission from you. It just gets into your head. So it's either you leave the room or you stay and listen. That's music for you.
Yes, and it engages you and draws you in. I get it. A lot of your music seems to be influenced by hip-hop in the United States. What are some of the artists that you find, besides Fela, obviously, who we all look to, but what are some of the other artists that you find influence your music and your style?
I'm kind of like a creative leech. Let me use that word, because I love creativity. Like, I listen to a lot of Drake. I listen to a lot of Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
I listen to The Weeknd. I listen to Travis Scott. I listen to good music. And basically, why I mentioned Drake at first was because, Drake actually switched the game. He switched the game in a way that currently rappers would want to sing without being judged for it. Because way back, it was like you saw that we had that problem here in Nigeria. We had hip-hop artists who were like hardcore hip-hop artists that would go down and dirty, like, oh, dirty bastard, you understand? And rhymes and go hard and be aggressive and all. You know how it is, like way back 80s hip-hop. I'm talking about hip-hop, like, I want to say Run DMC, but Run DMC had that swag and sway in his rap. But I'm talking of people like Tupac, B.I.G.,
but who had that harder urban kind of.
The thing is, I listen to Drake because he has in a way made me to understand that music, you really need to put your emotions in your sound so that you reach out people and resonate on that level. Because I see music and people, I feel people have exhibit variations and vibrations at the same time. So if your sound gets into equilibrium with what they want to hear, they just mellow into it. And that's what Drake does. He tries to paint pictures in your head that you would have probably experienced or would want to experience or would play in that experience. So, and for Kendrick Lamar is someone who you would listen to at first and then have to listen to again to get like a different interpretation of what you had listened to before. I started off as a rapper. I wasn't singing. It was just straight hip hop. I loved hip hop, I would just dish out what it is, how it is, try to create a style out of it. And then somehow, since I'm someone that grows with trends, and if music switches today, I would like to switch with it, but still taking a piece of me, so okay, this is TK Swag and he's doing this now. He's sounding new and it's cool. I try to experiment with sounds. And so that's why, like the other time we're chatting, I said I had like a new single coming out. It's called High. I don't know. I'll try to play it off. My phone, so you just get a sneak peek of what it is, because you'll be shocked at what it is. Because I started off rapping. If you listen to Check Your Alert, and there was me rapping in Hausa, but then I was actually singing the hook. So I don't. Yeah. So would you want to listen to High? This is a sneak peek. It's not out yet, but you're my man.
Oh, man, I would love that. All right, here it is. Brand new stuff, TK Swag, unreleased. This is High.
Story, oh, yeah. Kilo day, Mr. DJ, take it slow now, yeah. I don't hide, I'm not going home, yeah. Hold my cup, make I shaka, shuku, shaka. Give me lamba, give me energy. Man, I like the way that you do this dance and you give me energy. Hold this cup for me, fool me energy. I don't hide, I'm not going home, yeah. I took a man, no, balega. Break your body, bring your sutaba. Break your body, yara sutaba. Break your body, go on yataba. I took a man, no, balega. Kaki bari, manya su taba. Kaki bari, yara su taba. Kaki bari, kowa ya taba. Girl, I like the way you dance and shaking your bum bum. Baby, take my money, take my life and take it all. Don't you know that I've been drinking, shocking alcohol? Leave your nyash for me and rock somebody now. Shorty with a thicker body, make you rock somebody. Shorty with a thicker body, make you hold somebody now. Shorty with a thicker body, make you rock somebody. Shorty with a thicker body, make you hold somebody now. Give me lamba, give me energy. Man, I like the way that you do this dance and you give me energy. Hold this stuff for me, fool me energy. I don't hide, I'm not going home, yeah. I took a man on umbrella. Break your body, bring your sutaba. Break your body, yara sutaba. Break your body, go why yataba. I took a man on umbrella. Break your body, bring your sutaba. Break your body, yara sutaba. Break your body, go why yataba. Story, oh, yeah. Kilo day, Mr. DJ, take it slow now. I don't hide, I'm not going home, yeah. Hold my cup, make I shaka, shuku, shuku, shaka.
That's high. It's gonna drop hopefully this month. Yeah. So just before I stopped the song, there was the Hausa part. I was actually, giving that Hausa vibe off, because, like I said earlier, you can only give what you have.
So how many, being that you're from Nigeria and it's an intersection of cultures and languages and people, how many languages do you actually speak?
Hausa.
Languages and or dialects.
Tiv is, that's my tribe from Benue. That's like the major tribe here in Benue. And then there's Idoma. Idoma is like another tribe here in Benue. So I speak 3 dialects here. And then English. We communicate in English already. So that's just, I think, just 3 of them.
No, that's 4. And I'm sure it's probably more if you think about it, that's so, because one of the things, I speak a few languages myself, and one of the things that I find here in the United States is that so many people are monolingual. Like, we only speak one language or maybe a few words of another, but we don't really go outside of our comfort zone.
Some of them we don't even know. You could be in some parts of Nigeria and be like, what are they speaking? Like, I'm hearing. What am I hearing right now? Because that's just it. It's
what the hell did they say?
That, and we just try. The ones we can try to understand. We try to speak, to try to communicate and break that barrier. Yeah, language is like a barrier, and once you can speak someone else's language, it's like you're automatically the brother, or family. So that's just it.
So let's talk about the song that I discovered you on, and so many people know you from. Check Your Alert.
I had a new producer coming from Lagos. I was in Abuja. Abuja is the FCT, like the federal capital, or city of Nigeria. So I was in Abuja at the time, and this producer came all the way from Lagos, and we were at the studio, and he was like, "Yo, TK, we have pidgin down here, right? You understand that we have like a broken English down here. So I'm going to just try to speak that out for you." He was like, "Omotike, listen to this song, man. It go blow, man. If this beat, you guys drop on top this beat, man. It go blow." I was like, man, guy. Because as at the time, I wanted him to produce hip-hop, because he had produced for one of the major artists in Nigeria, and the track was like the bomb. So I needed him to make me a hip-hop track to be on that level. You understand? So he came with a party track instead. I was like, bro, listen to this beat, man. Listen to the kick, man. This is a hit right here. I was like, man. So I was like, I told my manager, man, tell this guy, man, this is not what we want to do, man. As in, we want to record a hip-hop track. I'm ready already. I was like, listen to this previous hip-hop track I produced. I was like, it's mad. He's like, yeah, it's mad, but listen to this beat, man. And he wasn't trying to do nothing else. I was like, but I paid this guy to come over and give me music, you understand, do what I wanted. Now, I was like, okay, let me step out for a bit, I took the elevator down and I was outside. And as at the time, I was actually expecting some money in my phone. So I was outside and I got this beep on my phone. I was like, oh, this has to be the money. And I went through it and it was just some network text message, telling me about some promotional plan I would try out. I was like, what's wrong with these guys, man? You want to check your alert and then they'll be sending you stuff. And that was it. I was like, you want to check your alert and they'll be sending you some other stuff that you don't give a heck about. Man, I took the stairs, man. I was calling the elevator. It didn't come. I ran through 2 stories to the third. I was in there and I was like, guy, let me get in the booth. And I started mumbling words. I was like, man, girl, check your alert. When I dance Akaida, she checked the alert. Now, Akaida is a Ghanaian dance step, Akaida is a Ghanaian dance step. So I was like, fine, check your alert. When I dance Akaida, you should check the alert. When you get all the money, you go feel the alert. When you pop the borders, you go check, check your alert. Check your alert. Check your alert. So he was like, yeah, that's what I was saying, man. That's why I told you this would be a hit. We wrote that song that day. Everything was written that night. It was probably around 1, 2 a.m. Yeah, it wrote itself because the inspiration came from actually getting an alert. That's how Check Your Alert was given birth to there in the studio. And the guy was like, this is what I wanted on this beat. I was like, all right. And then we dropped Check Your Alert and it was like, oh, okay, this is massive. We are always waiting for an alert. It's either we sent a message on WhatsApp and we're waiting for a reply, or there's an email we've been waiting on, or there's a bank alert we've been waiting on. There's always we in our devices. It's like a major part of our lives now, and we can't do without it. We can't do without checking our alert. It's always bringing us closer to our phones whenever we see the light beep. And, we always check our alert.
As I hear the alert sound right now.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I don't use my device. Yeah.
So as things progress, obviously Check Your Alert was a song that so many people, here, in fact, it was funny. There was a Check Your Alert challenge going on over here. And a lot of the Nigerian, I love Afrobeat and Afro music, Afro pop. And so there were Africans that were making videos, like Nigerians that were making videos to your songs here, which is how I discovered you and have done, my part, because I think you're an amazing artist. As things progress.
Oh, well, I'm someone who really wants to break boundaries, like try to spread my music as wide as it can get, across the shores of Nigeria. You already listen to my sound, so that's already across the shores. But I really want to be in the faces of my fans. I'm trying to build a bigger and larger fan base because I have my own unique sound. A lot of artists might do Afro pop, but it's actually trying to make it unique that makes you unique at the end of the day. So I'm seeing myself really growing majorly, breaking boundaries, traveling, having a tour outside Nigeria. You already listen to my sound, so that's already across the shores. But I really want to be in the faces of my fans. I'm trying to build a bigger and larger fan base because I have my own unique sound. A lot of artists might do Afro pop, but it's actually trying to make it unique that makes you unique at the end of the day. So I'm seeing myself really growing majorly, breaking boundaries, traveling, having a tour outside Nigeria. And I'm trying to tour this year in Nigeria, basically. I'm looking to drop an EP sometime mid this year, second quarter of this year. And it's going to be titled Creme de la Creme. It's going to have some really sultry sounds, cool mellowed out rhythms, and then of course, some Afro beats, some Afro upbeat, because this sound I played for you high is actually off the EP and it's just me on the full track. It's just me all the way. So I'm trying to put this project out there and then see where it takes me from there, because I'm actually someone that doesn't like to sit in one place. I like to follow my music and follow my heart, and then explore cultures, and then exploit cultures, and then put it in my music, and try to make it relate. I try to make it relatable.
So as you're moving forward, as you try to develop things, what's the next stage of development, and what kind of audience do you see yourself performing for?
For now, I'm trying to put together a team and plan it out, because I'm not trying to take it one step at a time. I'm gonna finish with my Nigerian tour and see what happens. If it goes out as planned, there's no way. I'll just try to create try to reach out to a couple of schools. I would really like it to be in schools, because I like the energy you get when you're singing to a more age-related audience, So for now, like you said, I'm still planning it. I'm not sure, I'm not certain, but I hope it happens this year, because I would really want to be in the US this year, before it rounds up, and then have a tour for like a month, and then I'm back. And depends on what happens, because I might just record another project of the tour, because I'm someone that writes a lot, and I like to write about my experiences and trends, and you just got to tap into that trend, because if Adidas is trending today, be sure to know that Adidas will be in my song. I'll give that hint of Adidas in my song. If it's Nike, it's going to be that. If it's a particular food or diet I had, if I choked on something, I'm going to laugh about it in my song, because I know a couple of people probably choked over that same thing, because, like I saw you in a traditional African attire. Yo, how did you get that, man? Where did you get that from?
So let me tell you, it's been a while since I've been in Nigeria, but I've been a few times. In fact, I was given a name, Olatunde Adebisi Ogunsegun. I am Olatunde Adebisi Ogunsegun. I have a bunch of Agbada, and of course, I have a lot. So we'll have to offline after the interview talk, and maybe I can get you to send me some stuff to beef up my collection. But I have Agbada, I have Arukele.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. The Yorubas have Agbada, the Hausas have Babanriga.
Habariga?
Yes, Babanriga.
Arukele, the like horsetail fan thing.
Oh yeah, it's like a talisman,
yeah. So I have a few things that I love, but yeah, man, I enjoy, as obviously being an American, I am African American, so I enjoy celebrating
the culture.
Yes, the culture, exactly.
Yeah,
they're right, because that is where I feel akin. And that's what I know that's a part of me. Doesn't change the fact that, I'm still learning about parts of the diaspora every day. And I'm sure Black Panther just came out here, which has been huge and even sparked more interest in the culture.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody's going crazy, and everybody's wearing African clothes. And I mean, you will see so much on Instagram. It's going to be crazy, man.
Oh man, I had it up on my gram,
I mean, it's a unique experience. We're talking about a Black superhero. Yeah. And not just Black. He's African. He is an African superhero from Africa who is not running around. He's wealthy. He's smart. He's powerful. I mean, you can't. I don't think you can ask for a better story.
I have to really get some pictures, man, because I wanna over here too. It's crazy, man. The energy, it's massive, man. I think that's gonna be one of the most powerful superheroes of our time, man. Because aside the fact that he is a superhero, he's actually Black. So that's like I don't know.
So obviously, one of the things I didn't get to was, because I'm as our time is winding up, personal stuff. We got to ask, because I'm sure the ladies want to know, are you married? Do you have kids? What can you share? Do you have a girlfriend? Is there a Miss Miss Swag hanging on in the background.
To actually, with the ladies down here, you sometimes you don't know if this is a real one. You don't know if she's here because probably you have some little buzz around you.
But bodyguard, you have to send
like
me
that,
the bodyguard. I only have Akbara.
I'm not new to the dating game,
Akbara,
so
and then I have
Arukele. If that's what we're asking, if that's not what we're asking, but I'm not married, and I don't have no kids yet. So TK Swag is still very much in the market. I might be out of the market, so you don't know. You know, it's like the Black Panther. You don't know. I'm here and I'm not there. The ladies down here, you sometimes you don't know if this is a real one. You don't know if she's here because probably you have some little buzz around you. It's like that. But I'm not new to the dating game, so if that's what we're asking, if that's not what we're asking, but I'm not married and I don't have no kids yet. So TK Swag is still very much in the market. I might be out of the market, so you don't know. You know, it's like the Black Panther. You don't know. I'm here and I'm not there. Yeah, right now I'm in the marketplace. Me, my music, my everything. We're out there trying to sell. You know. Yeah.
Right now you're in the marketplace, looking.
Yeah.
I get it. So before we get out of here, let's talk some politics. There's been a change in political leadership in your country recently.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Well, right now there's a power tussle. You know, we're gonna be electing a new president next year, and it's crazy here in Nigeria. So, a lot of them are. Let me just put it to you: the people we have right now in power are not really living up to expectations. You know, and the youths are kind of revolting. We are trying to see how we can get someone below 50 to be the president of Nigeria, because we have all these old guys trying to take us backwards when we're already millennials. Like they're trying to bring an outdated game into a new console, if you get what I'm trying to say. And you can play, you can put in a Sega cartridge in a PlayStation 4. So there's been some unrest. There's been some unsettling. What word should I use? There's been some. Let me use unrest. You know, about what's happening. A lot of people are trying to stand up to come out for political positions, because Nigeria is a very powerful country. But most what makes us powerful is the fact that we can go through a lot of stress and still come out smiling. So, but right now, and a lot of people have had it up to here. Like when I say here, I'm like about 6. I think I should be 6 foot. So my hands are really high up in the air. So it's about there. You know, everybody has had it to there. You know, not here. People want to come out and people want to get elected into public offices to try to give back to the people what it really deserves. Because Nigeria is really big. Nigeria has so much culture. It has so much tourism. It has everything that you would wish for, but we have bad governance, and that has crippled the economy and has crippled majorly every major sector that would have brought revenue into the country. And it's there. There's a lot of corruption, I won't lie to you, by these officials, and mostly people want to buy off votes and all, but the youths are actually standing up, because we've not had youths lead us, and we are standing up to say no to corruption and actually get our permanent voters registration card and then go ahead and vote for the right and suitable candidate. So that's what's happening in the country right now. We have a lot of the death toll right now is high because lives are not taken seriously. There's been a lot of ethnic conflicts. There's been conflicts over livestock. There's been conflicts over things that are not supposed to really bring conflicts, you know. And we're trying to make the country better, because we are in in a stagnant state right now, and we don't like what is happening. By we, I'm talking about the youth here in the country, you know, and a lot of people who have seen a lot of hardship, and there's inflations that don't get down when even we've passed that stage. We're still drawn back, and there's so much backwardness in the country. Nigeria is so powerful, so strong, even on the media, even around the world. You see a Nigerian, you know, this is a strong person. There's been a lot of negative vibe given to the country. We've had a lot of people reaching out to other countries because they've not gotten what they want right here. Because if the economy is good enough, you won't have a lot of graduates trying to get out of the country to seek jobs and greener pastures, you know, to try to make a living for themselves, try to earn something for themselves, try to take care of family and all that. You see them going the extra mile of traveling outside the country. But if we had all our resources channeled into the country and less corruption, there's a tendency that a lot of people will be putting in the energy to make Nigeria a better place.
Nice. And that's what it's all about, making wherever we are. And, you know, obviously Nigeria being a microcosm of the world, making every place that we are the best it can be. So, and that's a good place to kind of bring it to a close. But I besides that, I'm going to ask you a few questions and like a lightning round to just see how you answer them. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Why?
Basically, it's a color that shades what happens. Nobody knows how you're feeling. Nobody knows if you're smiling right or smiling wrong. It just masks up a lot of what you're probably feeling inside. So I like blue because it doesn't give off a harsh vibe. It gives you that lean back and cool vibe, like everything's gonna be okay. Like, check it out, the sky is blue when it's blue, and when it's blue it's all good. So blue is good.
Do you have a pet?
I love cats. I love dogs.
Do you have one?
We just have one in the house. Family house is a cat. Yo, we had a goat that we just fell in love with. So we are like that, you know. We see a goat who is trying to survive, and we're like, this guy is a survivor, so let him be. Let's not have him for Christmas. Let's just let him survive and see what happens. So we're that kind of people, man. We had a turkey one time that was so aggressive that we were like, okay, this guy is probably like a superhero, so let's let him be, you know, for a while, you know. And so it's like that. It's crazy, you know. We have that, you know. We have that, you know. There's this relationship you get with animals. So I think basically I'm good with animals because sometimes I might walk into a friend's place and I'm like, your dog, I like your dog, and we're cool like that. So.
Who is your favorite artist out right now? Besides Drake. We talked about Drake. So the new guys, who's your favorite person?
Right now, I love Khalid. I love Khalid so much. That dude makes me happy, man. I listened to him and I was thrown away. I was like, damn, can I just get a song with this guy already? Khalid is awesome, man. You know, Khalid, American Teen, you know. I had that whole project in my phone, and most times when I'm driving, I just play it all through and put it on repeat. So I love Khalid because of the way he sounds, man. He sounds like he just dropped out of the sky, man. I love that dude.
Yeah, he's a pretty solid artist. Your favorite food?
It has to be beans, man.
Just beans. No fufu. I was hoping for fufu.
No, that's the basics now. There's nobody that won't like fufu. You can.
I love fufu. I absolutely love fufu.
Yeah, everybody in Nigeria loves fufu. So fufu is like, hey, what are you talking about? Like, if I say fufu, it's like I'm being cliche. Everybody loves fufu. Yeah, so I'm saying beans because I don't know. Growing up as a kid, I didn't like it because we had a nanny that was cooking it wrong. So I didn't like it. And my parents were like, you had to eat this. And I didn't like it, but I started eating it about 3 years back, and I loved what I was eating. And you know, I told you I was trying to build. Yeah, you're out there looking like the Incredible Hulk. I'm trying to, you know, probably be one of the superheroes around. Yeah, so that's that.
Well, it's such an honor, man. You are really an inspirational artist, and if there are inspiring words as we head out, any inspiring words you want to drop? Like, what would you say that keeps you inspired and keeps you moving as a kind of last thought?
Yeah, losing is already a cliche. Not everybody wins, so you have to try to win. Because a lot of people give up too easily because they feel like they're already losing. It's a vibe you get. So if you're out there and you're looking to be greater than what you are, or you try to inspire to be a great person, don't get discouraged, because when the first step to winning is losing, accepting the fact that there's always going to be that aspect in life that you got to lose, you're already winning, because when you accept that you can lose, you get over it and you try to win. So that's just it. So anybody out there, just know that the first step to winning is actually losing. Yes.
All about winning. Thank you so much, TK Swag. Again, and we can get your stuff right now on any of the music services, iTunes, Google Music, Play Music, any of the services. It's out there right now. Check your alerts hot, but just look him up, TK Swag. He'll be there. Thank you, man, and we hope to see you again real soon. The Rahman Experience continues in just a moment. We'll be right back.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Rahman Experience.
And thank you for being a part of the Rahman Experience. It's always an amazing time. Remember, if there's something you want to hear, a topic you want to talk about, you can always hit me up on my social media channels. It's Rahman. That's how you spell my name. I know it's not like it sounds, but that's how you spell it. Rahmanj. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. That's on Twitter. Facebook is Rahman J Fans. But you can find me any of those social channels. Let me know what you want to talk about, what you want to hear. And I'd love you. Well, I do love you anyway, but I'd love for you to be a part of my experience. And you can check back for a new podcast every week. I look forward to working with you and to being a part of your life. And remember, if no one's told you, it's something I say all the time, because I believe that every emotion in the world, of all the emotions in the world, love is the greatest one. And sometimes just telling somebody you love them, that's what's important. So from me to you, if no one's told you today, absolutely, unequivocally, I love you. Make the rest of your day absolutely amazing. It's the Rahman Experience. It's a brand new experience, a brand new time, a brand new way to do it. Hey, yeah, it's all mine. I'm the one telling stories you thought couldn't be told. I'm the one that bring you in when you shaking from the cold. I'm the one always out front, yeah, trying something new. I'm the one that's gonna deliver when they ask what it do. Politics, entertainment, and science, what it do. Keeping you on the level with the stuff you can use. DJ Kids on the beat, and Ross got the track. It's the Rahman Experience. You know that's where it's at. Rahman Experience.